The season is over. Colorado will finish 3-9 on the season. That will be the worst record that they have had since Coach Prime took over at Colorado. And in my opinion, it's very well deserved. The recruiting, the coaching, the everything. This team is just not very good. And that's just what it is at this point. The only thing Colorado can do now is just fix this, because right now it is awful. Right now, it looks very, very bad. They are underachieving by a mile. And so at this point, they need to recruit high school players. I know Coach Prime has this ridiculous 40-40-20 or whatever that dumb thing is that he's created. He needs to throw that away, start all over again, and come up with a very new philosophy, a philosophy that's actually going to work for college football. That would be fantastic. Before I get into the things, though, I loved about this game, because there are a couple of things I just want to say. If you watched that Kansas State game, you saw a prime example and how a coach could be the reason why a team loses, because Kansas State's coaching was atrocious. Kansas State offensive play calling was absolutely disgusting. Kansas State last week had 472 rushing yards. Colorado last week gave up 455 rushing yards. You would think that Kansas State would come out in this game and run the football over and over and over and over and over. Kansas State did not do that. And Kansas State almost cost their team this game because they were the reason why this team was close. They didn't challenge Colorado. They didn't do the things that they know Colorado is not good at. And that is bad coaching. So I'm not only going to call out bad coaching when it's Coach Prime or when it's Coach Sark or when it's Coach Tomlin, when it's my coaches, I am also going to call out bad coaching when I see the opponents do it. That Kansas State coaching staff, I think I've been saying Kansas State. That Kansas State coaching staff should actually be ashamed of themselves because they let Colorado hang around in this football game. Shame on them for that. They should have called more running plays. We all know Colorado cannot stop the run. Anybody with eyes knows Colorado cannot stop the run. Kansas State still decided to try to come out and throw the ball. That's inexcusable. That's bad coaching. And those are the things that coaches do that don't make any sense, that cost their players football games. And I am a person that when I see something bad, and when I see coaches doing dumb crap, I'm going to call it out. Dumb coaching by Kansas State. And they happen to win the game because Kansas State is just that much better. So not good decision, not good coaching, but they ended up winning the game. But I still wanted to call that out. Now let me get into some things I love from this Colorado team. Things I loved about this game for Colorado. One of them was no penalties. At what point can we ever think of a game where Colorado didn't have any penalties? I think for Colorado not to have any penalties is great because it means that they are capable. And when you show me that you are capable, you are now showing me that those games that you had 8 penalties, 9 penalties, 7 penalties, all those penalties, I now see that you are capable of not having those penalties. And so that is what matters to me. That means that you know what's going on. You're just choosing to be sloppy in your play. And that is unacceptable. And so shout out to them for having no penalties. It's hard in a football game not to have any penalties get called on you. So, hey, they did that. So I'm going to give them credit for that. Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't already. Don't forget to make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. And if you think about it, turn on those notification bells. And maybe if you want to make me really happy, leave me a comment in the comment section below and let me know what you think about this video. And then the main thing is, too, I said this in my preview video, I just wanted Colorado to come out and show that they cared. I wanted them not to quit. I wanted them to play with heart. I wanted them to play with urgency. I wanted them to play and act like they cared. Colorado, to me, looked like they cared more than Kansas State did. Colorado came out, and I could tell they were actually trying to win the game. They were trying to complete passes. They were actually trying to do things the right way. I applaud them for that. I can't say the same thing for Kansas State. I was not impressed by Kansas State today at all, but shout out to Colorado for trying. One thing I will say that I hated, it's hard because this game was like a close game, right? And I can't on one end, because I cannot stand when people do this. I cannot on one end think Colorado is a really bad football team. And then on the other end, when they do things that are really bad, expect them not to be bad, right? So I'm not going to be that person that basically talks out of both sides of a mouth. But the thing that I don't appreciate was some of the coaching decisions. So at one point, Colorado was down 7, or at one point the game was tied 7-7. And Salter was the quarterback, and Coach Prime or whoever decided to bring in Staub for one play. Why would you do that? Your offense is trying to get going here, and you keep doing these dumb little coaching moves that impacts your team. This is not Madden. You're not playing a video game. I don't understand why we keep doing these like little coaching things that don't make any sense. So that was frustrating to me, and I hated to see that. And then the last thing I hated to see, shame on Coach Prime for not calling a timeout at the end of the game. You cannot coach and preach every day to your team about being motivated, not quitting, staying strong, doing all those things. And the chance that you get to show your team that there's no quit in you, you quit. You took 2 timeouts back to Boulder. I don't like that. I don't like those coaching decisions that go against the things that you preach to your kids. You have to be consistent. One thing about good coaches is good coaches are consistent. They consistently hold themselves accountable to what they expect, and they consistently expect their athletes to do certain things. But as a coach, when you're not being consistent, when you are not holding up your end of the battle and caring to the very last second of the football game, why and how do you expect me to do that when you aren't even willing to do that? You basically quit on this team when you had 2 timeouts. Call the timeouts, because at this point, what do you have to lose? I hate when coaches do that, and I hate when coaches basically shut down, but they don't want their players to ever shut down. Bad coaching, 2 coaching decisions. Did it cost them the game? Probably not. But it's just those little things that you cannot do when you're trying to bring your team back into the fold for 2026. I didn't like it. I didn't like to see it. And I thought that was piss poor coaching on Coach Prime's part. The season is now over, and now all things go back to Coach Prime. It goes back to his coaching staff, and it goes back to him recruiting. I have been saying now for 3 years, do not bring me any more NFL coaches. I do not want to see any NFL coaches unless they were in college for a while and spent a year in the NFL and now they want to come back. I'm okay with that. Don't bring me any more NFL coaches. Go get me college coaches that know how to develop, that know how to recruit. That is what Colorado needs. We don't need any more NFL guys in here doing NFL stuff. This team is not an NFL team. The talent is not an NFL talent. We need coaches in this coaching staff that can coach kids how to play college football, teach them technique, fundamentals, all the things about college football. And we need college coaches that know how to call college plays. That would be fantastic. The other thing is, Coach Prime has to go recruit. I know he's not going to because he doesn't think he needs to, because for some reason he's convinced himself that he's too big of a celebrity to go recruit. That's disgusting, but he needs to go recruit. This Colorado team needs high school talent. I will never get off of this. I will never let this go. I will never let Prime as a celebrity be a good excuse to not go recruit and to not do your job. Your job as a college football coach is to go recruit. It is unacceptable if you are not going to go recruit. And if you are too big of a celebrity to go recruit, you might be too big of a celebrity to be on the sideline and coaching. That excuse is played out. It's pathetic. We need to go get talent, high school talent. The lack of Colorado getting 20 high school talented athletes this year will be a fail. We have scholarships available. We have opportunities available. We desperately need talent. The lack of Colorado to go get high school students is going to be a problem. We need at least 20 high school students in this cycle heading into this 2026 season. If you can't get them an early signing day, okay, fine. Get a lot of them an early signing day and hope to get some of them later on. But the lack of high school athletes on this football team is going to come back to bite this coaching staff in the ass, because there's not enough talent in the transfer portal to make up the difference. So you have to go get it and you have to go develop it. And I am tired of hearing all the excuses that Coach Prime has put forward. We have seen this now for 3 years. At this point, just imagine the high school talent, if he would have recruited it last year or the year before, would have either been true sophomores or true juniors. But we don't have that as a reference because it didn't happen. Every single person on this team that you know as being a good player, Coach Prime recruited that player from high school. Think about that for a second. A lot of the players that you know as being good players have been recruited from high school. The lack of high school recruiting is going to screw this team until Coach Prime figures it out. The ball is in Coach Prime's court. At the end of the day, if you want to be taken serious as a college football team, you have to change in philosophy, because right now you're not better than anyone anywhere. Your coaching staff isn't better. Your players are not better. Your progress isn't better. You are 3-9. You are a 3-9 football team. In order to get better, you have to be willing to change and you have to be willing to do things that you've never done before. Because if you continue to stay on this path and you continue to not get out and go recruit, then you're basically telling us that you are okay losing and you're okay accepting that your team is not going to be able to compete at the highest level. And if that is what you're telling us, Coach Prime, we will listen. But I would like to think that that's not what you want. I would like to think that you want to be a winner and that you're going to do what it takes to be a winner. Full stop. It is what it is at this point. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, and I'll see you in my next video.